Donald Trump will receive new endorsement ahead of New Hampshire Republican primary. Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina is expected to endorse former President Donald Trump ahead of Tuesday's New Hampshire primary, a blow to his fellow South Carolinian Nikki Haley, the former UN ambassador. A person familiar with Scott's plans confirmed Friday to the Associated Press that Scott was expected to travel from Florida to New Hampshire with the GOP frontrunner. The person spoke on the condition of anonymity, due to not being allowed to discuss the plans publicly. The endorsement was first reported by the New York Times. Scott last May launched his own bid to challenge Trump before shuttering his effort about 6 months later, having trouble gaining traction in the polls despite millions invested by high-profile donors. In his efforts to run a positive campaign, Scott was often overshadowed by other candidates, particularly on the debate stage, where he seemed to disappear as others sparred. There has been speculation that Scott could potentially be a running mate option for Trump, should the former president win the GOP nomination. When Scott entered the race in May, Trump welcomed his latest competitor with open arms, wishing him good luck with hospitality that some suggested was an acknowledgement that Trump saw an increased number of competitors beneficial to his own bid. Scott's endorsement was sought by the remaining major contenders in the Republican primary, particularly ahead of South Carolina's Feb. 24 primary, which has historically been influential in determining the eventual nominee. Ron DeSantis, who placed just ahead of Haley in Iowa's caucuses this week, has been shifting his campaign resources from Iowa to South Carolina. He planned to stump in the state on Saturday, aiming to continue his effort to take on Haley, who has been pinning much of her early state's campaign on New Hampshire, directly in her home state. Haley appointed Scott to the Senate in 2012. On Friday, a spokesperson for her campaign downplayed Scott's impending endorsement of Trump. Interesting that Trump's lining up with all the Washington insiders when he claimed he wanted to drain the swamp, Olivia Perez Cuba said. But the fellas are gonna do what the fellas are gonna do.